Midnight Madness, but it is the nightcap here on the SEC Network as the Auburn Tigers do or die mode right now, getting ready to take on LSU in front of another packed Neville Arena here in Auburn, Alabama. Welcome everybody. He is King McClure. I am Mike Morgan. Great to be with you. Too often, King, broadcasters like us dig into the bag of cliches, start throwing out terms like must win. This is actually a must-win. Just ask Stephen Pearl. Ask anybody with Auburn. They have to win tonight, King, if they've got a chance at the NCAA tournament.
And Mike, that's the message that Stephen Pearl has said to his team for the past few days. So they've responded, they have accepted it, and they've had good days of practice. We'll see if it translates to the floor.
Well, let's see what translates numerically right now for the Auburn Tigers. They come in 15-14, but 6-10 in the SEC. The net is fine. 38 is more than adequate. Forward to lose a game like this tonight and still have much of a chance at the NCAA tournament. That's why we're speaking of must win. That is why right now Joe Lenardi has Auburn just on the wrong side of the bubble. The first four out, but how quickly that can change. It all starts by taking care of business on your home floor against LSU. It is senior night here in Auburn, Alabama. One of the seniors right there being honored, Keyshawn Murphy. And of course, their leading scorer, Keyshawn Hall, number 7 in white, honored before the game. They'll need both those seniors to play well against an LSU team that's playing much better basketball of late. And they've already picked up some key wins on the road. They actually play better basketball away from home, if you can believe it. It's a 9 o'clock tip here Central Time, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. If you're like me and you're a night owl, you're welcome. We got you till past midnight on the Eastern Coast time. You see the tournament chances with a win 45%, 26 with a loss. Again, a loss would be crippling for this Auburn squad. Let's see if they can get back to their ways against an LSU team that plays with just about anybody in this league.
To pay attention to Jalen Reese on offense. I mean, he didn't score well last game, but his facilitation is key for the Tigers tonight.
Tamba up top to Nwoko. Shot clock down to 2. Rise and fire by Reese. Rims off, and there's Hall with the first rebound for the Tigers. Keyshawn Hall averages 7 rebounds a game to go along with 21 points per game. Murphy getting the start. Mentioned him. Tahad Pettiford. When Tahad Pettiford brings his A game, it's a different-looking Auburn team. He's number 0 in white and gets the ball right wing and fires up a 3 right on cue. Tahad Pettiford from downtown.
And he's just picking up where he left off, Mike. 24 points last game. We saw them run that play and shoot around. Good draw on the first possession right there by Stephen Pearl.
Max McKinnon has been deadly from behind the arc all season long. Markwell Sutton is a 1,800-point scorer who plays awfully big when LSU wins. Speaking of big, that is Mike Nwoko. He's the biggest of bigs for LSU, and he gets his first basket.
And that's something that LSU can do. They can play an inside-out brand of basketball, and Nwoko is more than capable of heating up down low.
Pettiford, kick out to Hall, rims off, and a nice box out by Reese and McKinnon. Jalen Reese, number 2 in purple, leading the troops in the front court. Inside Nwoko, leaner, gets a friendly bounce, and LSU's up by a point. Mike Nwoko, the junior, by way of Toronto, Canada.
Once again, we see Reese's passing ability when Auburn ices the ball screen.
Great backdoor action. And another bucket. This time it's Kevin Overton, the transfer from Texas Tech. One of the leading scorers, averaging nearly 13 a game. McKinnon, always hunting for the 3. Finds Tamba, and Tamba lost it out of bounds. It'll be a turnover to Auburn.
So let's take a look at this right here. Because if you see, watch, Auburn ices the ball screen. When they ice the ball screen, that means they are keeping it on the sideline. So what do you hit? You hit that middle pass, and if the defending opposite side doesn't step over, you can hit that floater right there, and it'll be something they'll look to go to time and time again.
And that has been Auburn's Achilles heel, has been on the defensive end as Overton has the three pop out. Auburn, which we're used to seeing play elite defense over the last decade or so. There's some elite defense by Pettiford on the run out. No, Hall, yes. But Auburn has struggled on the defensive end, particularly during this tough stretch, allowing way too many points, particularly from the top guards that they face night in, night out. Overton tears down the rebound, takes it coast to coast. Shot deflected, maybe blocked by Nwoko that time. And here comes LSU in transition. Reese spinning, firing, pretty move by Jalen Reese.
And that's something that LSU needs him to be able to do. I mean, we know how good of a passer he is, but if he can start scoring the ball like he has in the last 4 out of 5 games, that's game he struggled. But if he can knock down those shots, it takes this offense to a different level.
Reese has really been a focal point since the announcement of DJ Thomas being out for the year, their star point guard. We're hoping to have him back next season. He had successful surgery as McKinnon splashes home a three, and he'll look for that shot early and often.
And that's something that Auburn struggles with. They struggle with defending the three-point line. Right there, LSU got it in transition. That's just a great play right there by Reese to find the shooter.
And he's an elite shooter, 39% on the year from behind the arc. Pettiford weaving. Pettiford sneaks it through.
That's great pace right there. You come off the ball screen, Mike. You put the defender in jail, and you read the backside line of protection. And you sneak it in right there. Good play by Pettiford.
9-9. We're in a break zone here in Auburn. McKinnon bobbled it, lost it. Here's a steal by Overton. Auburn with numbers. Hall. Freeman with a slam. Elijah Freeman, the sophomore, with plenty of hops. And now a shoe. Somebody got a flat tire right there at the top of the key. That's a big tire in the case of Nwoko.
We're seeing buckets on both sides. McKinnon getting it out in transition. You better know where he is at all times. And on the flip side, Keyshawn Hall is known as a scorer, but he can drop dimes, especially to Freeman.
Pretty good. 5-4 in one of the baddest conferences in America with a huge win in Gainesville against the Gators. But then February came, and that was a swoon for Auburn, including 2 losses to the Magnolia State, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. They did beat Kentucky, and that without a doubt is a resume builder. 75-74. That's the one win in the month of February. But again, the net ranking has gone from 29 to 38th in a short amount of time, and that is what has everybody around here concerned. You know, I thought, King, our conversation with Stephen Pearl today was terrific. He was very candid with us. One of the things he said I thought was really interesting. You asked the question, maybe what has surprised you the most about the head coaching job? He said, you know what? He had to think about it for a while. Then he came back to us. He said, I got the answer. He said, it's the 90% of the job that's not the coaching. That is the part that really takes getting used to. The 10% of X's and O's, he's all over that, but there's a lot more to coaching and running a program.
Yeah, there's so many other things, as you alluded to, that we don't even think about. I mean, the press conferences, the days where you have to go spend time with boosters. I mean, there's so many things that coaches do that do not involve basketball, and I think that's the biggest difference.
Hall on a steal to Overton. 5th turnover on LSU. That is Mashalik in the game, number 21 in white. 3-ball left short, kind of a line drive out of the left hand of Keyshawn Hall.
And LSU has to do a better job of valuing the possession, valuing the basketball every single time. Because right now they're getting a little too loose.
Open 3, that's the shot you want if you're LSU, and that's a good guy to take it in Markel Sutton, one of the top scorers for LSU this season.
Sutton, I mean, only shooting 28% from 3, but he's hit a 3 in his last 6 out of 7 games.
Yeah.
So if you allow him to see one go in, he could potentially heat up.
Coach Matt McMahon says he wants Sutton to be more aggressive. Now, don't be gun shy. If he's got an open look, he needs to take that shot. LSU, not surprisingly, playing hard and playing well. They're well coached. They're scrappy. And they have already won 3 games on the road in overtime. That's one of the more unusual stats I've ever seen for a team that has a losing mark, right? Like, I mean, they've struggled all year long, and yet they have 3 overtime wins on the road, 2 of them in SEC play.
And they're arguably better on the road in SEC play than they are at home, which is something that's extremely unheard of.
Yeah. 3-13 in SEC play, and 2 of those wins, overtime road wins. They also won a road game at Boston College earlier this year. That's going to be a foul on P.J. Carter. Coach McMahon disagrees, and so does Carter, but Auburn's going to get 2 free throws out of the deal. Kevin Overton, the former Red Raider of Texas Tech. Look at those numbers. It's hard to quantify that. I mean, I thought everybody loves the home rims.
It's just one of those stats that don't make sense. You can't make sense of that type of stat. And when we talked to Coach, he said, I mean, maybe it's the distractions aren't as prevalent on the road as they are when you're back at home. And they've tried to do their road routine at home to see if that's the difference. But on the road, this LSU team is just that much better.
Well, and one thing that's scary about this game for Auburn, we talked to Coach Pearl about it, LSU is just like Ole Miss. They come in here with absolutely nothing to lose. The pressure is all on Auburn. Give and go, inside, easy layup, great 2-man game. Robert Miller lays it in.
Well, how about that screen that Robert Miller set? I mean, that is a hard-nosed physical screen to completely eliminate the primary defender out of the play.
How about the efficiency for LSU? 6 of 9 from the field. 7 minutes into the action, LSU up by a point. Overton, rise and fire, missed it. And a rebound off to the Tigers and Carter. Miller with a hand in his face from Overton. Now Reese probes the baseline. Great defense that time. That's why he's in there. Mashalik is in there for D. Hall is in there for O. But he missed the running layup. He's off to a little bit of a slow start. Now 1 for 4.
And that's 6 turnovers for LSU so far in the first 8 minutes of this ball game.
Been a problem for him all year, especially having their starting point guard out for the year, and DJ Thomas. 1-point game. They try to go inside, almost another turnover, and instead an ambitious alley-oop is finished off by Miller.
And initially he had the right look. It was just a bad execution on the pocket pass, but he made up for it. He didn't let one mistake lead to 2.
Keyshawn Hall, who ordinarily lives at the free throw line, but hasn't drawn a foul just yet. The foul here will be on LSU, and we will step aside.
Look at this right here. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Getting it back, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good.
SEC tournament, and it all begins next Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Time at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. We'll have all the first and second round games as well as the late quarterfinal matchups right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Our first round coverage beginning at noon Eastern Time with the SEC Now crew. Well, we know Florida's going to be the number 1 seed. Alabama lost at Georgia today, so that could make things a little interesting with Arkansas lurking behind the Tide by a half a game. And then there's Tennessee, who picked up a blowout win against South Carolina. And then you've got a bunch of teams, King, just kind of jammed up there in the middle of this conference, which I think there's going to be a number of teams playing for postseason in that middle, postseason seeding. Like, those games will mean more for those teams perhaps than anybody else.
Yeah, the SEC tournament is going to be great. It's going to be cinema for sure, because so many teams that are on equal playing fields, but could also make some noise in the real dance in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you look at that Texas team, that Sean Miller team. I mean, that's a team that I wouldn't want to see.
Yeah, they've been playing great basketball of late. That's one of the wins that Auburn does have. They beat Texas here at Neville Arena about a month ago. Pettiford fade and fire. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Tahad Pettiford.
That's such a skilled shot right there. To stop on the dime, spin out on your pivot foot, and be able to knock it down as smooth as he did. High-level shot making.
The lead for LSU is 1. Step and fire 3, an air ball. And there to rebound it is the talented freshman, Sebastian Williams-Adams. Pettiford feeling it. Back iron unkind. Carter around the screen from Nwobo. Inside, pivot. Toss to the right wing. Sutton takes that little extra step, which they don't call a walk anymore. You can get away with that now, King.
And that's just a great move right there by Sutton. I mean, he realized he had the advantage with the shorter guard and Tahad Pettiford on him. Takes him to the post and just goes to work.
Nice start to the game now for Sutton. Alley-oop, and just crawling over the rim. That is a guy who is instant energy off the bench in Filip Jovic, the 6'8 freshman from Bosnia.
Hey, I'd go right back to Sutton right now. He has the same advantage, but nobody is realizing it right now on the floor.
Sutton in the right corner, and another turnover on LSU. That is 7 giveaways for the Tigers.
And look at this right here. Sutton does a good job of backing them down. Get into your spot. The little up and under, good move right there. And on the flip side, Tahad Pettiford reads this screen right here. Almost kind of sort of a Spain action. But good pass right there and good finish by Jovic.
Halfway through the first half, a 1-point game. Inside, Jovic again! Thunderous assault on the rim by the freshman.
And you run it once, you have to run it again. And that time, once again, the backside does not step over. And they hit the exact same player. Different pass, but still the exact same read.
Inside, and an and one. Mike Nwobo carving up space inside and then muscles it in there with the contact.
Once again, they run that screen. Backside doesn't step over. That's Sutton's responsibility right there. And then on the flip side, I mean, Nwobo is just so strong, so dominant down low. You allow him to be that deep, you're in trouble.
Former Mississippi State Bulldog Mike Nwobo now with 6 points. Pretty on the free throw as well. LSU back up by a deuce. We've already had 2 ties and 9 lead changes in this first half. There was no doubting LSU was going to come to play. That has been their calling card all year long. There's been no quit in the Bayou Bengals. Leaner by Pettiford. Can't connect. Reese had it. And out of bounds off of Pettiford. LSU out rebounding Auburn 10-5 here in the early going. And there's a blow by Sutton and had it stripped. Squirts back out to LSU. Shot clock never changed, and that's why the referees are going to have to talk it over, I believe. Was there a change of possession? Bart Lennox, Solandis Poole, and Brian Dorsey will head on over to make sure the clock is where it needs to be. And they have now switched it to 27 on the shot clock. So obviously a change of possession has been called. Reese hounded by Freeman on the Auburn logo. Elijah Freeman, talented sophomore. He's been starting here of late. Before that, he was one of the best 6 men in the SEC. Sutton going down low on the big man, trying to muscle through Williams-Adams. That's not an easy task. Williams-Adams has an NBA body at 6'8", 230.
Wow, they called a foul on Sutton right there. Wow.
Tough whistle.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that one. I felt like that was definitely on Williams-Adams. But it's the SEC. You better embrace yourself with the physicality.
Keyshawn Murphy hands off to Pettiford. Kick out pass. Williams-Adams does have some range. Misfires, though, on the three. Auburn now 1 of 6 from downtown. Skip pass into the corner. Reeled in by King. King gets it back. Auburn really amping up the defense so far tonight. Shot clock under 10. And a block foul called on Williams-Adams. He tried to pull the chair away from Nwoko. 21-19, LSU up by 2, 7:59 to go here on the Plains. Cup of coffee in the NBA. 8 guys that he played with at LSU wound up logging minutes in the NBA. And in case you're wondering with that last name, yes, he is indeed the son of Bruce Hornsby, the 3-time Grammy Award winner, who actually was at a game earlier. This is just me hanging out with Grammy Award winner Bruce Hornsby. That's just how I roll, King.
Slight flex.
Yeah, I was at a game earlier at LSU. We were going over a few notes, writing a few songs, doing what we can to entertain the masses. But
did you sing for him?
Oh gosh, no. Oh, we would break the glass if that would happen. But no, Keith's a great young man, a great opportunity for him. There's a 3-ball from the corner. Kevin Overton, not a moment too soon. Auburn was just 1 for 7 from downtown, and now 2 of 8 and pulling to within 1 point. Nwoko finds Reese. Harassed by Freeman. Shot clock down to 2. Gonna have to fire if you're Tamba. He does. Missed it, and there's Freeman off his pogo stick on the rebound.
And that's a great defensive possession right there. I mean, Auburn's doing a tremendous job on limiting McKinnon's touches. That's what you have to do if you want to be able to slow down this LSU offense.
And Murphy drawing the foul down low on LSU. 5 team fouls on the Bayou Bengals. Quiet so far for Murphy's. No points, 0 for 2 from the field. 6'10 senior out of Birmingham, former Mississippi State Bulldog. That's one thing Stephen Pearl said too about wanting to win this game and get in the tournament. He said he really wants it for these guys. Even throughout the struggles, he does love this group of players. He's had to have some tough love with them, but overall is a big fan of the chemistry on this team. I don't know if he's a fan of the spin move by Murphy. Not exactly his forte, but another forced turnover by this defense. Here's Hall. Leaves it off for Murphy. Yes! Keyshawn to Keyshawn on senior night.
And one thing I'm seeing with this Auburn offense is that they're doing a really good job of just being unselfish. I mean, they're making the right play. We've seen Pettiford have a few nice dimes. Hall, the same thing. I mean, they're doing a really good job of just sharing the ball and getting it to where it needs to go.
Nwoko, mismatch, took advantage of it and gets hacked from behind.
And let's take a look at this last play in transition. Maybe got away with the foul nonetheless. You get out, you run, and this is just a good decision by Keyshawn Hall. The dump off to Murphy. And when Auburn is playing this unselfish, when they're spreading the ball, they're spitting it out, they're taking good, high-quality looks, this Auburn team becomes an NCAA tournament team.
The NCAA tournament is what they're used to around here. That's the other thing Stephen Pearl said to us. He said, you know what? There's a lot of people that have gotten tired in this league getting beaten by us. He was a part of that as an assistant coach for his dad, Bruce Pearl. He said, they're getting their comeuppance. Doesn't matter if a lot of these players weren't even here at Auburn in the last couple of years. They see Auburn on the jersey. They want to beat one of the best programs in this league over the last decade. As you see, Bruce, who led Auburn to the Final Four last year, might be the best team in Auburn history, the one that was on the floor a year ago, but of course a lot of turnover this year. There you see the 2 Final Fours. You have to know what Auburn basketball was like, King, when we used to come here 10, 11, 12 years ago, where this program was and where Bruce turned it around. I think it's one of the more miraculous jobs in college basketball. Auburn was a moribund program that had no postseason success to speak of. The atmosphere was flat. There was a feeling from a lot of people you can't win at Auburn in basketball. He completely changed the narrative.
And that's why he's one of the best. He's one of the best to do it.
Another steal.
Uh-oh.
Breakaway for Pettiford. Look out. Pettiford has some hops. 26-25 with under 5 minutes to play. McKinnon inside. Tombaugh somehow squeezes it through traffic and banks it home.
That's just a high-level finish. Going through the contact, seeking it out, not shying away from it. I mean, that's high-level efficient offense. LSU needs more plays like that.
Pettiford hammered inside by Miller.
And one thing that Auburn does a tremendous job of is they get in the passing lanes. They're ultra-aggressive. And when you have good defense, it leads to good offense like that. Todd Pettiford, once again, showing us those ups. And Bruce is loving that.
He knows what's at stake. Bruce has made some headlines with some of his comments about the bubble as it pertains to his Auburn Tigers. You can still call it his Auburn Tigers. He does have an administrative role here. And of course, it's Auburn for life for Bruce. And he did make some comments of undefeated Miami of Ohio, who does play in the MAC. And then certainly there's a difference. I don't think anybody would argue that, even the biggest of MAC fans, between that league and the SEC.
And I think the biggest thing there is that anybody else said that statement,
right,
they would have said, hey, you got a good point.
Yeah.
But because BP is so close to the program, he was the wrong person to make that statement.
That's right.
Because they didn't listen to the message.
Yep.
They listened to who said it.
Tough shot. And a rebound snagged by Williams-Adams. Tied up at 27. Pettiford, heat check. Carter to McKinnon. Boy, as he bottled up quickly. Breaks the double and then just lost his bearings and threw it up at the rim. Auburn on the attack. Hall. Count the basket. Continuation. Keyshawn Hall will get to the free throw line.
Keyshawn Hall, one of the best in the country at seeking out contact. I mean, look how he goes straight through the defense.
He's fired up to tell you about the Dogs stunning Alabama. Aggies taking down the Cats. Your Gators.
I'm going to do my Dennis Gates.
Yeah, let's go. What are you seeing?
We need a lot of that in Auburn. We need some let's go, get this energy going. Come on, Tahad.
Mike Morgan King writes, check this out. If Auburn does get in the tournament, how far of a run can they go on?
Ron Slay, let's get him in there first, Ron. But I tell you what, I think there's enough on this team that, let's just say they had to go in the first four, maybe as an 11 seed, whatever the case may be. I still think there's enough athleticism there that, King, when I look at this Auburn team, when they're on, we've seen it at Florida. We saw it against St. John's. They almost beat Houston. They can beat a lot of really good teams if you get the right matchup.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for them is defense. I mean, if they can figure it out defensively, you have a guy like Keyshawn Hall and Tahad Pettiford who on any night can go get you 30+, and that's what you need in the tournament in order to win games. So I think they can win a game or two if they do get in.
Can I just say kudos to Ron Slay, Patrick Young, Peter Burns. We're all burning the midnight oil tonight, fellas. Just get an extra drink or two, whatever that might be.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice alley-oop pass to Nwoko. Get the glow sticks out. It's a party tonight. It's late night SEC basketball.
And that was just a great drop right there out of a timeout. Clear up the backside, let Nwoko walk the offensive defender up. Good drop right there.
How about Nwoko with a game-high 11 points? Three ball, step back by Freeman.
And that's something that he's been doing exceptionally well in the last two games. He's 43 from 3. I mean, I think when Freeman is playing well on the offensive side, this Auburn team is that much harder to beat.
Freeman, a great story. Played at Division II Lincoln Memorial. That's where Auburn had to go to snatch him away. Barreling inside, blocked from behind by Overton. Back up top, McKinnon ready to launch. Left it short. Hall, reverse layup, good. Keyshawn Hall starting to heat up. He has 6.
And that was all set up by Kevin Overton. He set the up screen so that Keyshawn Hall can get the baseline mismatch on P.J. Carter, and Keyshawn Hall just takes full advantage of it.
Largest lead for Auburn now, 5 points with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Late clock situation for LSU. Carter off a curl, and Carter drills the 3.
Man, this is a young man that's been exceptionally hot. 57 from 3 in the last 3 games. Double figures in the last 2 out of 3 games. I mean, P.J. Carter is extremely confident right now.
These could be the last games for the senior out of Atlanta, transfer from Memphis. Do you remember what that was like to play the last few games? Maybe some emotions going through your mind during that time?
Yeah, but the biggest difference was, I mean, I played all 4 at Baylor, you know?
Yeah.
So it meant something to me.
Right.
It genuinely meant something. I felt the emotion just for what the fan base and what the team and what Scott Drew genuinely meant.
What about senior day? You were talking about that earlier. The Auburn seniors were honored before we got on. A little bit of a distraction, perhaps?
It can be, because ultimately you want to play the game. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're Auburn and you're in a situation where you need this one to win. The only thing you're focused on is the game and the game itself. You could care less about the standing ovations and the fans giving you love in this moment of senior night.
Now here's Keyshawn Hall at the free throw line. As you see earlier today, he was one of the seniors honored for the Auburn Tigers. Keyshawn Hall, Keyshawn Murphy, 2 starters that were recognized for Keyshawn Hall. He's been a much traveled player, came from UCF, played at a couple of schools before that, but he has found a home with the Auburn Tigers, and he's found a home at the free throw line where he has a chance to set the all-time school record for free throws made in a season. He's got 204 made free throws. That's one of the top marks in the country. The school record is 4 away. So he needs 5 to break it. John Mengelt had 208 back in 1970-71. And there you see the updated number for Keyshawn Hall at 204. Some players, King, just have a knack. Yeah. And this guy knows how to draw contact, sell it to the officials, and get to the line.
I talked to him during shoot-around, and one thing he highlighted is he said, man, I'm not afraid to seek out the contact. Every single time on the drive, I'm looking for it.
Right.
I'm going straight through the chest of the defender. And on that steal earlier, when he got that and one, that's exactly what he did. No matter how big or small the defender is, he's always seeking it out. And you see that at the next level. You see that with guys like Shea. You see it with guys like James Harden. I mean, not nearly to that extreme of foul baiting, but it's the college version of it.
Deflection out of bounds. It will be Auburn basketball. Student section behind us. Reppin'. Late night game. Tuesday night. Doesn't matter. They're packed here as they normally are. The students get here early. Always a factor in this game. As Jovic, he is like an Energizer bunny. When he comes out there, it's like he's had a 6-pack of Red Bull or something, because he's never lacking energy. And now Pettiford saying, come on, crowd, give us some more.
And LSU has to do a better job of getting open. They're not able to get into their offense cleanly because Auburn is trying to deny that first pass, and LSU is doing a very poor job of getting open for their point guard.
Auburn has forced 10 turnovers in this first half. Carter off a curl. Missed it. Bodies flying everywhere. Pettiford racing down in the front court. Into the corner. Freeman on a 3. Yes! Elijah Freeman from downtown. Largest lead for Auburn, and a timeout called by LSU.
Elijah Freeman, 34% from downtown. I mentioned he's been a 6th Man of the Year candidate, but he's been starting lately and playing some great basketball.
And Tahad Pettiford has just been so unselfish. I mean, that's his 4th assist already in the first half for a guy who only averages 3 assists a game. I mean, the way that he's playing, you can tell, Mike, that Tahad Pettiford wants to get back to the tournament. He wants to win this game. Not a guy known for his facilitation or his playmaking. But tonight he cares so much that he's willing to share the sugar.
You know, the other interesting thing Stephen Pearl told us when we asked, like, what are you telling your team? Obviously, the Ole Miss loss was just crippling psychologically. They're going through this rough patch. He said, you know what we did? We had our video guy slice up a montage of nothing but really positive moments from this year. Big moments and big wins they had. Try to get some of that positive energy back. And so far, you have felt the positive energy in the building tonight. I do the same for me, King, when I'm feeling a little bit down. Do a montage of my best calls. As you see Nwoko get fouled, he'll go to the line for 2.
And this is the second time that LSU has come out and ran this same play. They clear out the backside and allow Nwoko to walk up the defender to get that backside lob over. The first time it was 2 points. The second time they end up at a free throw line. And that's just strictly due to Nwoko's strength and his ability to be able to move the defending big.
When Keyshawn Murphy is out of the game for Auburn, Auburn looks pretty small out there. And Nwoko looks like a giant. He's a tough matchup even for a true big. They don't have a true big on the floor right now.
And that's something that Bill Self loves to do. If you ever watch a Kansas game, they will get that play about 3 or 4 times, but they do it with Badunga, who's not nearly as big as Nwoko.
Yeah. 13 points now for Nwoko. There's a 3-second differential, but Auburn will essentially play for the final shot here as they milk it down. Hall going to work. Now probing. Now firing and drawing the foul. So you're not able to bleed the clock as much as you like because the foul occurs. But the good news is you've got an elite free throw shooter going back to the line. Keyshawn Hall, one of the top scorers all year long in the SEC, averaging just under 21 a game. Kind of a flick of the wrist form that Hall possesses. Originally out of Cleveland, Ohio. And the former Knight of UCF calmly sinks a pair, and he gets closer and closer to the school record for made free throws. He'll get a breather here. 10 points for Hall, 10 points for Pettiford to lead the way for Auburn. Final shot will go to LSU. Reese with 3. Reese, tough shot, and that is how the half will come to a close. So a good way to end it if you're Auburn. A strong run and a 7-point lead. 41-34 is our score. No sleep for these 3 guys. He's hit for 20 or more. Pettiford has picked up his play, and I would say, King, more importantly for Auburn, that they want to start turning the tide. Their defense picked it up, really forced a lot of chaos for LSU.
But also on the offensive side, I mean, they have 10 assists on 13 made buckets. Yeah. This is an Auburn Tiger team that's 324th in the country in assists to field goals made. So they're not known to really share the ball the way that they're doing it right now.
That's a good share. And that almost led to 2 more points. Murphy will go to the line as Pettiford precise on the alley-oop pass.
And the unselfishness has been on display even right there with Pettiford. Coming off a pick and roll, that's a guard that's looking to score off of that. But now he's looking for the lob, he's reading the backside tag, and he's making good decisions.
Well, this is the Tahad Pettiford that Auburn was hoping to see all year long. Remember, he was on that Final Four team a year ago, but he was a backup. Auburn had some really good starters that logged a lot of minutes en route to a historically good season. This year, he was given the reins to say, hey, this is your team. And at times he was there, and at times some things needed to be cleaned up. And right now, he is pleasing his head coach, Stephen Pearl.
There's a major difference going from 6th or 7th on the scouting report to now being one of the main points of emphasis.
Inside, look what I found. That ball was intended for Nwoko, got knocked away, and Tamba picked up the loose change and cashed it in.
And I like the intention right there. You want to go to Nwoko early on in the shot clock in this half, but you have to have a better entry pass.
Pettiford whips it over to Overton. Overton, the lefty. Trying to find some daylight, can't find it. Here's Murphy now with 5 on the timer. Shows a little mid-range.
That's how skilled he is. I mean, right there. The face up, the one dribble, knock it down in your face. Keyshawn Murphy is extremely skilled.
Tamba weaving and finding some daylight and banks it home.
And you can tell in the first 2 possessions, they're trying to get the ball to either Nwoko or Tamba down low because they feel like they have the advantage in the front court.
Murphy finds Freeman on the bailout. Freeman rise and fire on the 3. Murphy offensive rebound. They whip it around. Pettiford got it. 13 points for Pettiford, and the Auburn lead is 10.
And that's something we haven't seen in this game yet, Mike. I mean, Auburn's ability to be able to crash the offensive glass, but they're 6th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. And you see why right there on that last play.
Lob pass, Nwoko, rejected. Great block, but then the follow is there. Freeman had the swat initially. 8-point game. Pettiford feeling it. Pettiford firing it. Pettiford hitting it! 15 now for Pettiford. 6 for 10 from the field. And Auburn has an 11-point lead.
And that's the play that Auburn ran to start the game with. I mean, that's just such a hard angle to be able to defend when Pettiford is coming full speed across the floor at that angle.
McKinnon. Great look, and Tamba there to clean it up.
Tamba's doing work down low on the offensive glass, getting the ball around that paint area. I mean, all of the points from LSU in this half have come in the paint.
At 28 of 42 in the paint. Pettiford! Look out below! And a timeout by LSU. Tahad Pettiford with 8 points in the opening stanza of the second half. 8 consecutive points for Tahad Pettiford, who is putting on a show here at Auburn.
Right here. Pay attention to this screen, all right? He sets this backdoor screen, which causes confusion for the LSU defense, and he immediately slips out and gets this handoff. And right there, he's wide open because Sutton lost track on the backdoor screen. They ran that for him twice. That's something that they went over in shoot-arounds. And Tahad Pettiford has executed that to perfection.
Great job by you illustrating that play, because I think a lot of people would see that and think, oh, he's just freelancing out there. That's a design play, right?
Yeah, that backdoor screen. They always, I was that guy, right? I was a catch and shoot type of guy. So one thing that my coach always told me, Scott Drew, was the better screener you become, the more open shots you will receive.
I like the backdoor screen and then flare to the outside corner.
And then immediately getting the handoff because you cause confusion.
You believe this? Now Pettiford with a block. What has gotten into Tahad Pettiford tonight?
They're doing a tremendous job on McKinnon. I mean, they're making it tough. They're not allowing any clean catch and shoots. They're forcing him to put the ball on the floor, and when he puts the ball on the floor, he's seeing multiple bodies. They've done a really, really good job on McKinnon.
McKinnon, to add insult to injury, picked up his 3rd foul. He's on the bench. He's been a non-factor so far tonight. This guy has been a factor, but not that time. And then Keyshawn Murphy slithering in for the rebound and gets fouled.
And that's one thing that you have to be aware of if you're Robert Miller. I mean, Auburn is so good on the offensive glass. In the first half, they really weren't as dominant as we've seen them be. But in the second half, they already have 2 offensive rebounds. You have to locate bodies on the shot and block out.
Murphy was about to tear the rim down before he got fouled by Robert Miller. And that will bring us to the media timeout. Auburn up by 11 thanks in large part to the talented sophomore Tahad Pettiford.
We love it here. SEC Network.
Bringing you College Game Day takes an all-star team. So when it's their time to shine, we make sure they have what they need to succeed. It's why we cater to Kai and her impeccable taste. Invest in Todd and all the light he brings. And support Miles, who always brings the hype. We champion the talent on our team, same way you champion yours. Principal, proud sponsor of College Game Day.
A lot of excitement in the air on the late night specials tonight around the SEC, including tonight here at Auburn. Tahad Pettiford, maybe they need to have him play a late tip the rest of the year, as he's been nothing short of fantastic in this game. 18 points, 4 dimes, 4 steals, and a whole lot of energy out there, King.
And this is the Tahad Pettiford that Stephen Pearl needs game in, game out. I mean, he's had an up and down season. Hasn't shot the ball great like he did last year, but this is the guy who Auburn knows he can beat. I mean, he had a great game last game, but the games against OU and Kentucky, he really struggled. And in moments like that, you need Tahad Pettiford to be able to step up the way he stepped up tonight.
Murphy splits the freebies. The lead is 12 now for Auburn. And LSU could use a run here. Reese around the ball screen. Nwoko posting up inside, but Reese says, I got 3 of these from outside.
And Reese was 0 for 4 from 3 in the last game, 1 for 10 from the field. I mean, scoring is something in which he's going to have to continue to develop, but I've been impressed with what he's done so far.
Freeman missed it. Murphy got it.
Another offensive rebound right there by Keyshawn Murphy. I mean, he's just imposing his will on the offensive glass.
When you think about the staples of Auburn basketball, another 3. That's back-to-back for Jalen Reese. He's keeping LSU in this single-handedly, 56-48. I was just about to say, one of the things that Auburn has been known for, a great offensive rebounding team over the years, and that has been on display tonight. Pettiford, that one was over the magic square and straight through the net.
It's his pace of play in the pick and roll. I mean, that start-stop is as good as anybody in the SEC.
Pettiford now his 6th 20-point game in his last 8 tries.
But also a lot of it is when you drive, they collapse. And when they collapse, they give up wide open shots on the opposite side.
Pettiford out to Freeman, under 5 on the timer. Freeman, fade and fire. Wow, that's a tough shot right there. That's good defense by LSU. It's better offense by Elijah Freeman.
And there's a lot to like about Elijah Freeman. I mean, his shot-making ability, his athleticism, the way he competes on the defensive side. I mean, at his size, about 6'7" or 6'8". I mean, he has the prototypical size and skill set that NBA GMs love.
Offensive foul down low. Nwoko just cleared out Overton like he was just an annoying fly.
Let's take a look at this right here.
A little bit of acting.
Overton might have sold it just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Nwoko is strong, but I don't know if that strong on that play. And now an offensive foul on Pettiford or Jovic on the screen? Jovic on the screen, I beg your pardon.
We have to take another look at that one because I don't know if I saw anything right there. Let's take a look on Jovic. Oh, it's the two-hand push
back
right
push,
there.
Yeah.
The two-hand push, definitely. Great call.
Now in Bosnia, you might get away with that. Carter finds Sutton. Sutton puts it on the deck, takes it in. Nice reverse move. He went one pivot right, one pivot left with the finger roll.
I mean, he's done a tremendous job of being able to take advantage of the mismatches when he has smaller guards on him, getting to his spot, taking his time, not being in a rush, and using his length to his advantage.
Former Summit Player of the Year at Omaha. Overton steps into a three.
And that's something in what he does. I mean, 72% of his shots are jumpers. So you have to be able to be there on the catch and force Kevin Overton to put the ball on the floor.
If you like good shooting, we've seen the last 8 3-point attempts in this game drop through the bottom of the net. Inside, and hacked and fouled is Rashad King with 12:06 to go. That'll silence the crowd momentarily and give LSU a chance to stop the bleeding a little bit. Particularly in the jungle, Auburn has always been a high motor, high spurt ability team that goes on some massive runs. Now the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament begins on Wednesday in Greenville, South Carolina. We'll have the first and second round games as well as the late quarterfinal games here on the SEC Network. Can anybody knock off the #1 seed South Carolina Gamecocks? Second free throw up and through for King, and it's back to an 8-point game. Alongside King McClure, Mike Morgan with you here on the plains of Auburn. As we talked about at the beginning, a must-win for Auburn. They simply cannot afford to lose this game. As of right now, they're on the first 4 out, according to our own Joe Lenardi. They need to pick up this win, and will probably need another one before the season is done.
We're seeing some high.
The Tigers, and for Kevin Overton, that's his third. Inside, block, Nwoko takes it strong, and he gets hacked in the act. Nwoko with 13 points to lead all LSU Tigers in the scoring column, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line. How about 6 for 6? Getting it done, big fella.
And Mike, one thing I want you to notice on this next possession is Stephen Pearl in shoot-around said when they have the lead, he will be the one being more intentional in terms of where the ball needs to go in the play calling department. Because too many times they'll have leads like this and they'll have empty possessions.
Right.
Like in the game against Ole Miss, they had 4 empty possessions, and Ole Miss gets back into the game when they're up 8.
Yeah.
So watch, every single possession now, they'll be a lot more intentional about where they want the ball to go.
Yeah, Stephen was not happy with kind of the freelance nature when they got up late in that game against Ole Miss. That'll work, though. Overton, just a straight line drive.
That's just great basketball right there. Immediately get to the rescreen to allow Kevin Overton to get to a strong hand. Just good basketball.
15 for Overton, but Nwoko continues to cause havoc down low. Nwoko, 15 points. That's one below his season average. finally misses a free throw. Murphy checks in for the Auburn Tigers, so a little bit more beef down low to combat number 1 in purple.
And Mike, you can tell this Tiger team wants to win. Kevin Overton, as soon as Keyshawn Murphy checks back in, he gives him a signal to basically insinuate, hey, let's keep going. Let's turn this thing up. And Kevin Overton is no stranger to success. I mean, what he did last year at Texas Tech and how he was able to win games, and he got a taste of it. He wants another taste this year.
LSU falling back in a 2-3 zone here, mixing up the defense. And Pettiford just slipped and fell. Great defense that time by the Tigers on the zone. King barreling in and has it stripped out of bounds. It will remain LSU basketball. And Mashalik checking back in for Auburn to give him some extra defense. LSU having trouble getting it in, and Keyshawn Murphy deflected the inbounds pass. Another turnover for LSU. That is 14 of them. So hard to win on the road when you don't protect the basketball. And there's a dagger 3 by Overton. The turnover, the 3, and all of a sudden it's a 14-point lead.
And that's what Kevin Overton can do to you. If he sees a few go in on the catch and shoot, now he gets even more confident and shoots him off the dribble.
LSU hasn't made a field goal in nearly 4 minutes. Sutton to Reese. Reese drawing a lot of attention and drawing another foul. So LSU's not hitting field goals, but they are getting trips to the free throw line.
Talk about Stephen Pearl wanting to be intentional. Look at this. Look at how he's being extremely deliberate with what they do. He's slowing them down. And that's just a good bucket right there by one of your better players. But one of the hardest things in basketball is being able to maintain leads, being able to play with leads, especially when 20 minutes is such a long time.
One thing he said, too, about shots like the one you just saw, says he doesn't mind them if there's people there to rebound. And Auburn does have a half dozen offensive rebounds as Overton gets fouled on a logo 3. I hate to keep harping on this, but King, since it's the first time you and I have worked together, it drives me crazy to see how many players at this level foul three-point shooters. I mean, if they earn a 3, they earn a 3.
Yeah. It is really bad.
It's just, you're seeing it. It's like an epidemic across the sport.
It's really bad. But you know what? I'd be lying if I said I hadn't fouled my, fair share of three-point
You did that too, huh?
I might have done it about 2 or 3 times in my career.
See, I had such a high opinion of you coming in. I mean, this changes things.
Don't act like you haven't fouled a three-point shooter in the rec leagues that you play in.
Yes, in the rec leagues, of course. But, anything goes in the rec leagues. Overton really starting to pour it on here in this second half. That's now 21 to lead all scores. So the starting backcourt, Pettiford has 20, Overton has 21, the largest lead of the game for Auburn. Tamba, handoff to Reese. Reese has got a big on him. Tamba posting. Gets it and takes advantage of the smaller defender in Overton. Good offense there by LSU.
I love the intention. I mean, Auburn's going to switch 1 through 5. So when you do get that switch and you have the advantage, locate the mismatch and get the ball where it needs to go.
Under 8 minutes to play. Hall going to work. Crossover, drive, and gets the bounce. It looked like He was running into a trap and somehow makes a very difficult shot.
When Keyshawn Hall gets you on an island, good luck.
Hall now with 12. And there's another steal and another turnover. Look at this. William Adams leading the break and fouled at the rim. Auburn putting it in overdrive here in this second half.
Kevin Overton getting hot. Number 1, looking for...
Auburn Tigers up by 15 with 7:25 to go. Again, entering the game, 41% chance of making the NCAA tournament. A win would put that up a few ticks. A loss would be devastating. I don't even know if 26% is an accurate number, because I feel like at that point you've lost 8 out of 9. Everybody is pretty much counting you completely out. They had to win this game. Stephen Pearl said as much pregame today. I think Auburn to a man knew it. They had to come out here and play hard against an LSU team that's been really dangerous, particularly on the road. And Auburn has saved its best for this second half. 15-point cushion for the Auburn Tigers, looking for their 7th conference win of the year. Ball inside. Tamba draws the contact, and LSU is actually out shooting Auburn at the free throw line in the second half. Just playing a little bully ball, this time in the form of Pablo Tamba. Played 2 years at UC Davis, originally out of Malaga, Spain. Substitutions, Pettiford and Freeman coming back in for Auburn. I don't think the students care about the time of this game. I think you could have started this thing at about midnight and there'd still be plenty of excitement. I think somebody just won some type of fast food item. What do we got? Curly fries? Gooey fries. Okay.
Gooey fries.
Somebody won gooey fries because of the 2 missed free throws in a row.
And I have no idea what that is.
I don't know either. Not sure if I want to know, quite frankly.
It sounds like something I should stay away from.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, a lot of carbs, I believe, in the gooey fries. 22 points now for Pettiford. He's been on a heater. 6 out of the last 8 games he's hit for 20. That was supposed to be an alley-oop pass, but it hit the rim. And right now, Auburn starting to separate from an LSU team that came here to play, but has been outmanned in this second half.
And once again, you see Auburn slowing the tempo down and getting the ball to where they want to go instead of taking quick rush shots.
Murphy, steal. Great hands by Tamba. Leading the break, and there on the finish is P.J. Carter. One thing I will say about LSU, number 1, I think Matt McMahon is an excellent coach. Number 2, they have not quit throughout this season. They just have not. They're missing 2 of their best players by far, have for much of the year. Very short on the roster right now.
Yes.
But you go to their practices, you watch their shoot-arounds. There is no lack of effort and very often execution. But when you lose your starting point guard and your best big, that's a lot to ask for anybody.
I mean, that's one of the hardest things that you have to do in college basketball is try to get your guys to respond properly to adversity. And I think that's very telling of what type of coach you are, to see the effort that your guys give despite the circumstances in which what has been given to them.
It might not sound like much. I'm sure some people at home are saying, well, that's what they're supposed to do. Go out and play hard. You and I have both seen teams completely lay down at this time of the year if things are not going well. I think they might have changed the call on that. They're going to challenge it. Okay, so we have our first challenge of the night. What do you think of the challenge system so far?
I like it. I'm here for the challenge system. I think they have to fix the appeals and the challenges.
Yeah, agreed.
And get that under the same language. But Other than that, I like it for our game.
Yeah, just put it all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. And that looks like, this might be the angle right here.
Oh, gosh. Well, if it's that angle, flip a coin. Okay, that had to be the angle before. That last one definitely would not be enough to overturn it. Stephen Pearl wins the challenge, does not lose a timeout. Not sure if it's going to matter at this point. Now, Stephen Pearl was a guy that was very animated today at shoot-around and was very open to discuss what this season has felt like for him in his first year as head coach. He talked about it, the things that he has learned, the things that have been frustrating. And I like what he said at the end as Pettiford hits another three. That's his fourth. A game-high 25 points for the sophomore. But Stephen Pearl said, you know what? I'm a big boy. I can take it. Get your licks now. Because next year, whatever is wrong with this team, we're going to fix it. Miller draws the foul. And what Dad Bruce Pearl did was kind of spoil this fan base where you expect to go to the tournament every year. That wasn't even a question for the last 8 years or so. Like, okay, Auburn's going to the tournament, but are they going to be good enough to go to the Final Four? It wasn't that long ago, Auburn had the longest drought in the SEC of not making the tournament.
And no doubt, Stephen Pearl's going to figure it out. You can just tell by his demeanor and his confidence level that he'll figure it out. And he'll have Auburn back to the level in which this fan base is used to seeing them.
A double order of gooey fries on the line. Denied. You'll get one bag and like it.
That's probably all you need.
Yeah, probably so. Oh, the things you can get away with eating when you're 19. High metabolism.
Man.
Iron stomachs. Hall inside. Wants it. A fade and fire. And an offensive rebound of the foul on the floor against LSU. Freeman came flying in. Again, that's one thing Auburn does very well. They're not the best rebounding team in the league, but they're a good offensive rebounding team. They are not afraid to crash the glass.
And you have guys like Freeman and Murphy. I mean, they just have this relentless pursuit that every time the ball goes up, they're flying in 100 miles an hour to try to get every single offensive rebound. And when you mix the athleticism with the effort, it's tough to keep them off the glass.
Reach in foul on Overton. And that'll send LSU to the line with 3:57 to go, and we come back. The Auburn Tigers trying to close this one out and pick up a much-needed 7th conference win of the year.
At Auburn, we're committed to providing exceptional experiences to our students. And the Auburn Creed inspires us with a spirit that is not afraid as we tackle the world's greatest challenges. Through excellence, innovation, and hard work, we create intelligent systems, resilient communities, and a safer, healthier tomorrow. And while grounded in a rich set of traditions, our groundbreaking approach motivates us to dream the biggest dreams. Join us at Auburn and be forever changed.
Time to check out the good hands play brought to you by Allstate. Tahad Pettiford matching a career high with 6 assists, matching a career high with 4 steals, and how about 25 points to boot. Pettiford on fire tonight on both ends of the floor and helping Auburn get out to the big league they enjoy now. Tahad Pettiford, our Allstate good hands play and player of the game. Mike Morgan, King McClure. Neville Arena, at times it's lacked a little bit of excitement this year. It's been a tough stretch for Auburn basketball. Losers of 7 of the last 8, but bringing their A game here tonight and what was a must-win coming in, and now up 81-64 for the final 3:57. think we can cut the music. And let's play some basketball. Jalen Reese at the free throw line. Auburn, of course, will have the regular season finale on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. Those two teams had a thriller here at the Neville Arena earlier in the year. Auburn lost that basketball game. And a chance at revenge for the Tigers at Coleman Coliseum. Want to talk about an opportunity to get off the bubble, win that game on the road. I don't think there's any question if they somehow beat Alabama on the road.
They should definitely be in.
At that point, you're on everybody's in list. A much-needed quad one win at that point. And then, of course, the X factor is always the SEC tournament. And there'll be a number of teams trying to figure things out. I think Georgia's in. Yeah. Georgia now, with that win today against Alabama, a couple weeks ago at Kentucky. Mike White's going to lead that team to a second consecutive NCAA tournament. That has not happened in a long time in Athens. So kudos to the job that he has done.
He's done a very underrated job.
Yeah.
Doesn't nearly get the amount of love that he gets, that he deserves. But he's done a tremendous job in Athens, for sure.
And how about the job that Sean Miller has done at Texas here of late?
Yeah.
They're on the right side of the bubble. Missouri trying to get more and more secure with the way they played of late. And the SEC will have at least 10, possibly 11, which would lead the country for a second consecutive year after having 14 of 16 a year ago.
Yeah, that was just a historical year last year.
I'm not sure if we'll ever see that again, quite frankly. But that's what happens when you win 89% of your non-conference games. That's almost impossible to duplicate, as Auburn calls a timeout here. It might not be long before some of the backups get in for the Tigers with 2:51 to play. All right. You and I get a chance to see not only this league, but a lot of the other leagues out there in the country. It's pretty certain that Duke is going to be a 1 seed. Arizona and Michigan are going to be number 1 seeds. Do you think Florida can capture that 4th number 1 seed?
I do think they have a chance. I really do think that they have a chance. I think Houston is another team that you can think about on that line.
UConn.
UConn is definitely another team. So I honestly think whoever fares out better in that conference tournament will probably be that team that gets that final 1 seed spot.
I know one thing, that the 1 seeds this year, they are super teams. Like this, it's not to say that there's not good teams that'll be on the 2 line, the 3 line, but the number 1 seeds this year are so stacked. I mean, they are really powerhouse teams.
Yeah, we talk about Michigan and Duke. I mean, the way that Duke just makes everything look so easy, and Cam Boozer has to be
He's incredible.
Yeah, arguably the most consistent player we've ever seen in college basketball.
He would certainly get my player of the year vote at this point in time.
Easily.
Actually ran into him and his father calling the game last night in Raleigh. And I just went up to Carlos Boozer and I said, it's a pleasure to watch your son play, because it truly is. He is such a special talent.
He's so mature for his age. I mean, never looks sped up, never looks rushed. Just makes the right play time and time again. He honestly just makes the game look so easy. I mean, we talk about a year of, top 3 picks and number 1 pick. We talk about A.J. DeBanza, Darren Peterson, and Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer is definitely your safe pick.
Yes.
I mean, he's definitely the one that you will not miss on.
Kansas losing a tough one tonight. Darren Peterson did play, but had an off night.
3 for 17, really struggled.
Coming up on 2 minutes remaining here at Auburn, 83-67. And the fouls continue here in the final couple of minutes. I know one thing, too. Florida's got a super team, and I don't think anybody wants to play Todd Golden's bunch. Congratulations to Todd Golden, the fastest Gator coach in history to pick up 100 wins.
I don't know if I've ever seen a team have a season quite like Florida. I mean, to come in with as much hype as they had, to lose the way that they did early on in the season, fall out of the rankings,
right?
Then climb their way all the way back up to where they are now. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen that drastic of a difference in one season.
Well, when's the last time you saw a defending champion lose its top 4 guards?
Yeah.
And then look like another team that could play for a championship.
I mean, that's the transfer portal in today's day and age. I mean, you have to reload, and Golden did a tremendous job. I mean, it took Xavier and Lee a little minute.
Yep.
You know, people were questioning if he was able to play on this level with what he did at Princeton translate to the SEC. And at first, you know, I was one of those people on that bandwagon of, I don't know, Mike.
Right.
I don't know, but he's starting to figure it out, and he's figuring it out at the right time.
He's figured it out. Boogie Flan has been good, and then that front court is as good as any in America.
As anybody in America.
Hauk, Condon, and Chinyelu are a problem for opposing teams. The great game for Nwoko continues. 19 points now for the junior. Full court pressure on display by LSU. Auburn can start thinking about milking clock here. You know, Hall wouldn't mind another trip to the free throw line. Instead, he'll cough it up. No need to foul, but Auburn will with 1:30 to go.
And it's plays like that by Tamba that just show you that this LSU team has no quit in them. They're one of those teams that tapped out despite being down by 16 right now. They're still playing hard and they're still competing.
There was an incredulous look on Stephen Pearl's face, and he's going to talk to his floor general, Tahad Pettiford, now, like, hey, come on. We don't need this now. All we have to do is bleed clock. Don't be careless with the basketball. Don't foul, and take the dub. Closing out games has been an issue for Auburn this year, and he wants this to be a teaching moment, the final 90 seconds. Hall, and one. That's one way to close it out. Keyshawn Hall saying, hey, Coach, I know that wasn't the game plan, but I saw the parting of the Red Sea.
And, you know, typically you want to pull that out, but he made the right decision. And when the lane is that wide open, he has the ability to be able to use his strength and finish through contact.
17 for Hall, who entered this game with 1,759 career points. So on the verge of hitting the 1,800 mark. And the backups are coming in for Auburn as the final 60 seconds will soon tick away. Three ball, rebound, and no fouls. And Stephen Pearl is going to want to just call a timeout, get the subs in. It is senior night. Reed Trapp is one of those seniors, number 22, out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And you know the crowd's going to want 22 to launch it here. They are not looking for a bunch of passing going on when Reed Trapp is on the floor. C.J. Williams, another senior out of DeLand, Florida, he's on the floor. And Williams has the ball up top. Williams
determined to shoot it, but there's no opening. Gets it back. He will shoot. And here comes LSU the other way. Freeman on a steal. And we got a scrum at midcourt. LSU gets it. Open three in the corner. Yes, sir. That's Mosley. Final 13 seconds. And that'll do it. Auburn had to have it. They will get the dub. 88-74. Your final score here at Neville Arena. The Tigers are still breathing. A chance to get back to another NCAA tournament. King McClure, some final thoughts.
If they play like this against Alabama, I do think this Auburn team can get to the tournament. They have a great shot when they share the ball and they defend the way they defended tonight.
That'll do it for us, King McClure. Pleasure working with you, my friend. For King McClure and the rest of our great SEC Network crew, Mike Morgan saying so long from Auburn, Alabama. 88-74 the final. The late night crew back at SEC now taking over.